Charlotte Flair has made a truly shocking admission, and when I saw it, I had to double check and be like, wait, is this real or not? And it is real, and it is from a reputable source because she did a recent interview where she made a very interesting admission, and I knew I had to talk about it here on the channel because I know a lot like you guys is a lot the way I feel when it comes to Charlotte Flair. I'm a little divided, right? Like, I respect Charlotte Flair for the wrestler that she is. I respect Charlotte Flair for going out there and having great matches and going out there and being a top tier heel. But I'm also divided in the fact of I don't really think that she's the greatest promo in the world. I don't think she's a very good babyface. And I think that she is somewhat overrated and overpushed by WWE, both Vince McMahon and Triple H. But that doesn't mean that she's still not a great wrestler, right? She gets the storylines moving. And when put in a position where she can be showed in a prominent spot against a prominent star in a prominent feud, I think it actually works out very, very well for her and the company. But now we're entering a very interesting spot now because Tiffany Stratton, she retained the Women's Championship over Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41, right? It was truly a decision that I don't think a lot of people, including myself, saw happening. I did not think that WWE was going to have Charlotte Flair sidelined for a year, return from a torn ACL, MCL, and a meniscus at the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble, earning herself a championship opportunity of her choosing at WrestleMania, going against Tiffany Stratton, who had held the belt for a while now, and then have Charlotte Flair lose. You look at the buildup of this, yes, Charlotte Flair got the better. But I had my head in the sand, or maybe I was just going off of trends in history of like, it's Charlotte Flair for a major title at WrestleMania. They got to go with it. They got to go and they got to have her beat Tiffany. Her feuding with Tiffany will only rise Tiffany's stock, and Charlotte Flair will get another title reign as they try to have her eventually now break John Cena's record of 17. I think she's at 14 or 15. And so it's like, okay, here we go. We're about to get there, right? Well, they didn't do that, and that was a major shock to me and a lot of people. Now, this interview was released after WrestleMania, but it was done before WrestleMania. So keep that in mind, right? There was a lot of interviews that were released on WrestleMania week, and so some of them now are like trickling out. But anyway, Charlotte Flair did an interview with People Magazine, and it was a very interesting interview, and she talked about how she hopes to tap into more of her real self on television because, in her words, Charlotte is not relatable. She said, on the opposite side of WrestleMania, I think I will tap more into that and try to kind of bring me, Ashley, the real person, to Charlotte, because I do feel that Charlotte really isn't the character I made, is not relatable. Is she right? Yes and no. Okay. Do I think that Charlotte Flair is relatable? No. No, she's not. Heck, I can make the argument she's not even likable as a babyface. She's like The Miz, where, hey, he comes across as a nice guy. I'm sure Charlotte's a nice woman, but like they're just not likable human beings. Okay. But here's the thing about pro wrestling. If you look at stars that have gotten over, it is people's personalities or characters that are unique, that are bigger than life. Okay? You lived through Steve Austin as this guy being a guy that pushed back against the establishment, a guy that pushed back against his boss. Well, you wouldn't necessarily go into your office or your factory or your warehouse or wherever you work and hit a stunner to your boss. You'd like to, but you wouldn't, right? But you lived through Steve Austin. He was bigger than life. So I think Charlotte Flair, if she goes through the route of like trying to be more like her real self, I don't know if that's going to work, because that's like Ric Flair being like, you know what? I'm no longer going to be the Nature Boy. I'm just going to be Richard Flair, right? It's like no one wants to see Richard Flair. They want to see Ric Flair, right? Like, So what are we doing here? Whatever brought you to the dance, guess what? Stick with it. It's why you were brought to the dance. You can make pivots, you can make changes, but don't abandon what got you to the spot that you're in, right? Like that would be my biggest advice to her. I don't think this is going to work. I think she is, she just turned 40. She's been in this business for a while now. I don't know if she's burnt out. I don't know if she's fatigued. I mean, she's just had a year off. I don't know if she feels like she's stale. And I can make the argument that she is, but the only problem is before she got injured, she was a babyface for a while, right? And as I said at the top of this video, I'm not a huge fan of Charlotte Flair as a babyface. I don't think she pulls off that character very well. I think it's very hard for people to get sympathy for Charlotte Flair. All right. It's not very easy to do with her success, with her push. And don't get me wrong, she's gone through adversity, whether it's personal, whether it's professional. I mean, her marriages, her brother, everything. But at the end of the day, Charlotte Flair is a great heel. She really is, because she's pretty much universally disliked. If that's not a heel, I don't know what is. Like anything and everything that she does either upsets people, it irritates people, they don't want to see it. I mean, that's a definition of a heel. And so I understand you have to do baby faces from time to time, but I would also say that like lean into it. The Miz is not a baby face very often. Why? Because he's not a very good baby face, right? There are some that can go back and forth. You should be able to go back and forth. But at the end of the day, if you're if you're a great heel, but you're a okay baby face, well, you know what? Let's lean into that heel act way more than a baby face. But if it's 50-50, then you can go back and forth. And I feel like Charlotte Flair's in that spot where she's an okay baby face, but she's a great heel. Well, let's lean into the great heel aspect a little bit more. Once again, whatever brought you to the dance. Now, wherever they go with Charlotte Flair coming out of, WrestleMania, she wasn't on last week's SmackDown. I don't know where they're going with it. It looks like Nia Jax is going after Tiffany. I don't know. I don't know if she's taking some time off. I don't know what the situation is, but it'll be very interesting to see where they position Charlotte Flair on the card when she does come back from television and everything like that. So let me know down in the commentary below. Do you think that Charlotte is a better heel than a babyface? What would you do with Charlotte Flair coming out of WrestleMania? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below in the comments.